I hit the brakes and cut the wheel hard to the left, which slid us around to face it. That dang critter looked at us if it was seeing into our souls. DOGMAN, the canine-like cryptid we've all come to know and fear. Hey everyone, welcome back to another creepy cryptid history. I'm your host, Brooke. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a DOGMAN encounter from Michigan. It's actually a subscriber sent story from Steve. So don't forget to hit that like button, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I do upload these videos very often. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a walk into the forest. Hey Wolfpack, I hope you're having a wonderful day. So as I stated in the intro, we do have a scary DOGMAN story from none other than the state of Michigan, DOGMAN country itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. By the way, did I tell you this was actually from Steve? Yes, Steve sent me this, so yeah, thank you, Steve, for sending in your story. It's a really good one, and I'm gonna go ahead and share it with everyone. I'd like to share something crazy that happened to me a while ago, around 2003. I was up in the northern part of Michigan, around Charlevoix, Ellsworth, and East Jordan. One night, I had just dropped off the girl I was seeing, Amber. Being from a small town in Virginia near Kentucky, I've seen my share of critters, but what I encountered that day was not only my first time hearing about it, but also seeing it. I had dropped off Amber at her sister's place to babysit while I drove around to explore the area and learn the back roads and shortcuts. I was still new to the area and only knew a few people there. My sister had moved to Michigan a year prior. She and her now ex had a place about 2 miles out of Ellsworth, heading back towards East Jordan. After dropping Amber off just outside of Dixie Lane Drive, I received a call from my sister. It was just getting dark, and she was screaming that something was trying to get her dogs and was pulling on the dog kennel attached to the house. I could hear the dogs going nuts. They were 2 American bullies. One fully grown and the other about 5 to 8 months old. I gunned my truck and sped up Dixie Lane, cutting through a few fields to get there faster. As I rounded the corner, I saw a county cop. I slammed on my brakes, told him what was going on, and let him hear the chaos I was hearing over the phone. He said, "Show me where they live," and I took off, doing about 90 miles per hour to get there. I jumped a ditch and flew into her yard, coming around the side of her place. As I did, a huge brownish black creature looked up at me on 4 legs. I turned my fog lights on and the brights to see what it was, and the cop shone his spotlight on it. We both just looked at each other as this monstrous dog stared back at us. I hit the horn, it growled, and then took off into the field. The cop, whose name I won't mention because everyone thought we were crazy, jumped into my truck. I dropped it into 4-wheel drive and sped after the creature through the huge wheat field. This thing was incredibly fast, and pardon my language, but it was hauling ass. I hit 60 miles per hour in the rough field, full of bumps and dips. I got to a point where I was about a front end and a half away from it when it made a quick left turn. I hit the brakes and cut the wheel hard to the left, which slid us around to face it. That dang critter looked at us if it was seeing into our souls. The cop said, "Back up." I was just amazed at how beautiful yet massive it was. It had a face like a mix between a husky and a German shepherd, with brownish black fur, somewhat of a mane, and pointed ears with a little tuft of hair at the end. I was shocked by what it did next. it stood up on its hind legs, which made it taller than my truck. It laid its huge, almost hand-like paws on my hood. Note that my truck had a 3-inch lift kit at the time. It lowered its head to look right at us and let out a howl that was a mix between the sound from An American Werewolf in London and a roar. It snarled its lips, and its teeth let me know that if it wanted to bite, we would have been ripped open. Oh, hell no to that! The cop drew his gun, and the creature looked at him, making a sneezing noise like dogs do. It pushed off my hood and took off towards the tree line, clearing a huge gap between the field and the trees as if it wasn't even there. It was gone in a flash, and we kept the spotlight on it until it hit the tree line. I've only told a couple of friends about this because when the cop and I told the others who showed up what had happened, they laughed at us and asked what we had been smoking. We stayed to check out my sister's place, which had a ripped kennel wall out of it and deep claw marks about 7 feet high on the side of the house and on the doggy door. We found a set of footprints wider than my 2 hands put together, deeply imprinted on the damp ground. While I was there, sitting in the dark, watching her place for it to come back, I could hear its deep bark and growl echoing through the darkness. I would shine my light out near the woods and could see amber and yellow eyes moving behind the trees and bushes. There were at least 5 of them, but they stayed away and didn't make a move towards the yard. By morning, there was no sign of them. I found out that just on the other side of the tree they had been in, a calf had been ended, along with one of those dogs that looked like white St. Bernards. This all happened just hours after the beast left my sight. After all that, my sister moved away, and the cop transferred back down to Ohio as a trooper. I stayed for another 2 years, moving to a new area for my job. Amber and I talked a lot about that night, and she was the first one to tell me about the DOGMAN stories, or as she called them, devil dogs. Well, that's my story. It's a long one, but it's burned into my memory, and I never believed in things like this until that night. My son and I are fans of your channel, and I want to thank you for giving people a place to talk about these things without being made fun of or being called crazy. Yours truly, Steve. Wow, that was an absolutely terrifying yet exciting story. I'm glad that you and your family are safe, Steve. Like, above all else, we want you to remain safe. We love to hear about these stories, but some of them are really, really scary. And you have to think about, you almost losing yourself out there, if you know what I mean. And like I said, thank you for sending it in, and I hope you don't run into any more of these aggressive dog men in the future. And I also appreciate your love and support towards the channel as well. I'm glad that you can enjoy this. And yes, I do try to have a safe space for everyone to come and tell their stories. That's why I'm so adamant about y'all sending them to my email. And by the way, if you have sent me an email and I haven't responded, I usually don't respond. And not because, I'm snooty or, want to ignore you or anything like that. It's just because I have a lot on my plate, especially at the moment. So I'm not ignoring you. I do look them over, and if I ever do get a chance to email you back, boy, that I have a lot of time on my hands. Or have some time on my hands, I should say. But guys, yes, if you have any kind of stories like that, send your encounters to me, okay? I would love to share them on here. Well, everyone, what did you think about today's creepy cryptid history? Let me know in the comments below. Do you have any stories like this, or any video evidence, or any kind of evidence you want to send to me? You can email me, or you can just put it in the comments. And as always, I would like to give a shout out to all of the members of the channel. Guys, thank you so much for what you do. You really do help this channel more than you know. And guys, don't forget to check out the merch. There's always a sale going on for 20% off your entire purchase when you put in the discount code Wolfpack at the end. And Wolfpack, remember, keep your head up, keep your paws up, stay strong, turn to Jesus, thank God on the daily, no matter what you're going through. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving this video a watch. I will see you in the next. Bye!